The cake box cuts into Selena Hart's fingers as she stares at the blurry photo on her phone. Cade stands in the center of the frame, bare chest half covered by a white shirt hanging open. A woman in his dress shirt leans into him on the leather sofa, hair a wild dark halo, mouth dangerously close to his neck. The hotel suite in the background is unmistakable. So is the timestamp. Tonight. His birthday. The anonymous text glows under the picture. Surprise. Your husband is celebrating without you. Thunder growls over Manhattan, turning the windows of the luxury hotel into smeared silver. Selena forces her shoulders straight, bites down on the shaking in her jaw, and walks down the carpeted hallway toward the penthouse suite. Her heels sink noiselessly into the thick runner. Her heart does not. It stomps and kicks and claws, smashing against her ribs. Do not cry before you see it with your own eyes. She repeats the sentence in her head like a spell. For 3 years she has believed in Cade Walker more than she has believed in herself. She believed him when he promised forever. She believed him when he said the late nights were just business. She even believed him when gossip blogs linked him to bored socialites and actresses. He hates cameras. He hates gossip. They are lying. That is what she told herself. Until the photo. Selena stops at the door of the penthouse Cade uses as a company crash pad, a place that was supposed to be their secret hideout when work ran late. Her fingers close around the key card she has not used in months. The small cardboard box in her other hand is already damp where the rain has soaked through the bakery bag. Inside, the chocolate cake she ordered yesterday sits in perfect layers. Happy birthday, Cade. Piped in gold icing across the top. She had planned to surprise him at midnight. Instead, midnight surprises her. Selena swipes the key. The small green light blinks. The lock clicks. For a split second she freezes, fingers pressed to the cool metal handle. She hears it first. A woman's laugh, breathy and tipsy, drifting through the thick wood-like perfume. A deeper male murmur that she knows as well as her own name. Her heart cracks right down the center. Selena shoves the door open. Warm yellow light spills over cream walls and dark wood floors. The air smells like whiskey and Cade's cologne. The cake box slips in her sweaty grip as her eyes take in the scene that will replay in her nightmares. The living room is a mess, pillows tossed on the floor, Cade's tie hanging over the back of the sofa. An expensive bottle of champagne sweats in a silver bucket on the coffee table, 2 crystal flutes already half empty. On the sofa sits a woman in Cade's white dress shirt, bare legs tucked under her like she owns the place. Dark hair tumbles around her shoulders. She clutches the shirt closed with one hand and presses the other dramatically to her mouth when she sees Selena in the doorway. Her expression wobbles perfectly between shock and guilt. Selena knows that face. Viola Cohen. Roderick Cohen's adopted daughter. Petite, pretty, all sharp cheekbones and soft lips, the kind of woman gossip magazines call a socialite, and Selena silently calls a viper. Selena, you Cade's voice comes from the hallway that leads to the bathroom. He appears a moment later, a white towel slung low around his hips, drops of water clinging to his chest, dark hair damp and pushed back. He stops dead when he sees her, eyes widening, then narrowing in a frustrated frown. He looks like every lie she never wanted to believe. Selena. He says, voice low and rough, like she is the problem here. Why are you here? The words slice deeper than any knife. She stands there in the doorway, rain dripping from her hair onto her light blue dress, the cake box clutched like a life preserver. For a heartbeat, she wants to laugh. Why is she here? In their place. On his birthday. The air in her lungs turns to glass. Happy birthday. She says. The words come out hoarse. I thought, I would surprise you. Viola scrambles to her feet, wobbling theatrically as if she has just been caught doing something terrible. Selena, please, it is not what it looks like. Viola's voice is soft, almost trembling. She hugs Cade's shirt tighter around her. Cade was drunk. He was upset after the meeting. I was just taking care of him. Please do not be mad at him. Blame me. I pushed him to drink. Cade does not step away from her. That is what kills Selena. He does not pull his arm out of Viola's clutch. He does not move to stand by his wife, dripping and shaking in the doorway. He just stands there, jaw tight, eyes shadowed, as if he is tired of all of this, as if she is making a scene. Selena, you are overreacting. He says. Nothing happened. Overreacting. The cake box slips from her fingers. Time slows as the white cardboard tumbles, hits the polished floor, and bursts open in a spray of chocolate and cream. Gold icing smears across the marble like someone dragged a ring through wet dirt. Selena stares at the mess, at the ruined words, at the splashes of color on Cade's bare feet. The last 3 years rise up in front of her. The nights she stayed awake sketching designs for his corporate galas, only to sign them with someone else's name so critics would not accuse him of nepotism. The dinners she reheated again and again until they turned to rubber because he was 5 more minutes away. The way she slowly stepped backward from her own career until her portfolio gathered dust in a drawer. She walked out of her own spotlight so he could stand alone in his. She finds her voice somewhere under all that. 3 years. Selena says. Her laugh is sharp and wild. 3 years, Cade. 3 years I stood behind you while you climbed your perfect ladder. I packed up my studio. I turned down exhibitions. I smiled and told everyone I was happy being Mrs. Walker. And you repay me with this? She makes a wide gesture that takes in Viola, the champagne, the towel, the ruined cake. Viola bites her lip, eyes glistening. She wraps both arms around Cade's arm now, holding on as if she is the victim. Selena, I swear, Cade never touched me. I just fell asleep here after he drank too much. I should never have stayed. Stop talking. Selena's voice cuts clean through Viola's babbling. You are not the one I married. Cade's jaw tightens. He finally pulls his arm away from Viola, but it is too late. The image is branded into Selena's skull. Selena, listen to me. He insists. Roderick ambushed me tonight after the board meeting. He pushed drinks on me. I was trying to avoid a scene. Viola just happened to be there. She almost laughs again. Roderick Cohen pushed drinks on you. She repeats. Your mortal enemy pushed drinks on you, and you just accepted them, brought his little girl into our hideout, and let her wear your shirt. That is your story? He scrubs a hand over his face, frustration all over his features. For God's sake, we did not sleep together. A part of her wants to believe him. A small, desperate, bleeding part. But the bigger part is done begging for scraps. Selena steps forward, each heel click echoing in the heavy silence. She reaches into her bag and pulls out a crisp stack of papers she picked up after getting that text message, when the world was already tilting, and she needed something, anything, she could still control. She holds them out to him. The printed words on top stare back at her like the final punchline. Divorce agreement. Cade stares at the papers, then at her. Rainwater still dripping from her hair onto the glossy floor. What is this? He asks, even though he knows. This. Selena says, her voice calm now, almost eerily steady. Is me saying I am done. I am done guessing what is in your head. I am done defending you to everyone, including myself. Sign it, Cade. The apartment, the houses, the cars, the company stock, keep it all. I do not want a CENT. Viola sucks in a breath. Selena, do not be impulsive, marriage is. Do not. Selena lifts one hand without looking at her. Call me impulsive. I am 3 years too late to be impulsive. Cade's eyes darken. You talk like I am some kind of monster. Everything I have done, I did for us. For our future. I know. She says softly. That was the problem. You did things for us, but you never once did them with me. The quiet hits him harder than the shouting. Thunder cracks again outside. Lightning flashes against the windows. Selena pushes the papers against his chest. He catches them automatically. She recognizes the muscle memory of contracts in his hands. Deals signed. Empires built. Sign them. She repeats. We both know you like quick, clean exits. His throat bobs. For a second he hesitates, his gaze flickering between the divorce agreement and her face. Selena, can we please just talk about this when everyone is dressed and calm? He says. You are shaking. You are upset. I am drunk. This is not the time. It is exactly the time. She says. Because for once, I can see you clearly. Something inside her clicks into place. The tears she expected never come. Instead, there is a strange, light numbness filling her chest. Without waiting for an answer, Selena turns on her heel and walks out. The hallway swallows her up. The door swings shut behind her with a soft, final click that sounds louder than the thunder. She does not look back. By the time Cade reaches the door, she is already halfway down the hall. Blue dress a streak of color against the muted walls, hair plastered to her neck. Selena. He calls. The name tears itself out of him. Selena, stop, we can talk about this. She does not slow. He starts after her, but Viola grabs his arm, fingers digging in. Cade, you are wet, you are drunk, you will catch a cold. She pleads. Let her calm down, she will come back, she always does. Something ugly twists in Selena's chest at the sound of that. She presses the elevator button with more force than necessary. When the doors slide open, She steps inside and stares at him across the shrinking distance. He stands there in a towel and guilt, held back by another woman's hand. "Goodbye, Cade," she says softly. The doors close on his stricken face. By the time she reaches the lobby, the numbness is gone. Only a dull, nauseous ache remains. Outside, rain lashes the city in silver sheets. Selina steps into it without an umbrella, letting the storm wash away the last traces of cake frosting and hotel perfume. On the sidewalk, with her hair dripping and mascara running in thin lines, she does something she has not done in 3 years. She chooses herself. By morning, she has already called a lawyer. By noon the next day, the Walker mansion looks like a battlefield after the Queen has marched her army out. Suitcases stand lined up by the front door. Boxes labeled with black marker crowd the marble foyer. Framed wedding photos vanish from the walls one by one, wrapped in brown paper and tape. Selina stands in the middle of the chaos, hair pulled into a low knot, wearing jeans and a white t-shirt that used to be Cade's. The soft cotton smells faintly like his detergent, like nights tangled in sheets, and mornings with coffee and lazy kisses. She folds the memory up along with the shirt and drops it into the donation pile. "Are you sure about this?" Mia asks from the staircase, balancing a stack of sketchbooks on her hip. "Because I am totally prepared to help you burn his suits instead. That would be very healing for both of us." Mia Brooks is the exact opposite of the polished society wives who drift through charity galas on Cade's arm. She wears sneakers with everything, swears like a sailor, and has a rainbow tattoo wrapping around her wrist. She has also been Selina's best friend since art school, and the only person who looked her in the eye after the wedding and asked, "Are you happy?" Selina looks at the suitcases again, at the life that could have been comfortable if she had just kept swallowing questions. "I am sure," she says. Her voice does not shake. "That feels like progress." "Okay then." Mia nudges a moving box with her foot. "You throw away the man, you keep the talent." Selina smiles despite herself. "That is not how the saying goes." "It is now," Mia says. "Also, we need to talk about your habit of leaving your own name off your designs. That dies today." They are interrupted by the sound of the front door opening. Cade strides in with the storm still clinging to him. His navy suit is immaculate, but there are dark circles under his eyes, as if he did not sleep. The divorce papers are clutched in his hand, edges crumpled. The air temperature in the foyer drops 10 degrees. "Selina," he says. Mia immediately steps in front of her like a human shield. "Oh look, the ghost of birthdays past." "Mia," Selina warns. "No, seriously." Mia continues, folding her arms. "You could not keep your pants on for one night, and now you want to what? Negotiate terms? Because my girl here already gave you everything. The least you can do is get out of her way while she leaves." Cade's jaw flexes, but he does not look away from Selina. "We need to talk alone," he says quietly. "Please." "We really do not," Selina replies. She walks around a stack of boxes to the door, heart beating too fast but feet steady. "Our lawyers can handle the rest." He steps in front of the door, blocking it with his broad shoulders. "I did not cheat on you," he says. "Not with Viola, not with anyone. I swear that on everything that matters to me." "On everything that matters to you?" she repeats. "So what, your company? Your reputation? Your next big acquisition?" His expression flinches. "That is not fair." "You are right," she says. "Fair would have been you trusting me enough to tell me what was going on with Roderick instead of hiding late-night meetings in hotel penthouses. It was business." He insists. "You know what the board is like. If they saw me even talking to him, they would assume I was selling the company out." "Congratulations," she says. "You managed to look exactly like you were selling your marriage out instead." He drags a hand through his hair, the controlled lines of his suit cracking as his composure slips. "Selina, I am trying to fix this," he says. "We can go to counseling. We can take time apart without making it public. We do not have to jump straight to divorce. You had 3 years to fix this," she says, feeling exhaustion settle deep into her bones. 3 years where I asked you to come to my shows and you promised next time. 3 years of me sitting in this house waiting for your key in the lock, while you stayed out for the company. I was building something for us," he says desperately. "You do not know the pressure." "You are right," she cuts in. "I do not. Because you never let me close enough to feel it. You built walls with your work, and then acted surprised I was standing outside." Mia clears her throat, eyes flicking between them. "I am just going to supervise the movers. But just so you know, Cade, if you try to guilt trip her, I will staple these divorce papers to your forehead." She disappears into the other room, leaving them with the echo of her threat. Cade takes a slow breath. When he speaks again, his voice is lower, rougher. "Keep the house," he says. "You know the lawyers will tell you could ask for half the company too. You do not have to walk away with nothing." Selina actually laughs at that, the sound bitter. "Do you even hear yourself?" she asks. "I do not want your money, Cade. I never did. I wanted a husband who saw me as more than a background character in his success story." She lifts her chin. "I signed my career away once for love," she says. "I am not signing my dignity away for a settlement." Something in his face cracks. "So that is it?" he asks. "You are just a leaving." "Yes," she says. "That is the one thing in this marriage I still have control over." She brushes past him. This time, he does not stop her. By the time the sun goes down, the Walker mansion is a little quieter, a little emptier, and a lot colder. The press is already sniffing around the gate, flashes popping as her car pulls away, questions pelting the windows like hailstones. "Mrs. Walker, is it true you are seeking a divorce? Did Mr. Walker cheat? Is Viola Cohen involved?" Selina ignores them all. She has given enough answers for other people. It is time to ask questions for herself. 2 months later, a new boutique opens on a narrow street in Soho, squeezed between a minimalist coffee shop and a gallery that sells neon sculptures. The sign above the door is simple, brushed metal with one word cut into it in precise, elegant script. Nirvana. Inside, glass cases curve around the small space, lit from within so the jewelry glows like small, trapped galaxies. Necklaces spill like shattered constellations. Rings curve like phoenix feathers. Bracelets look like fractures mended with gold. On opening night, the little store is packed. Influencers snap photos. Fashion editors whisper to their assistants. A famous actress tries on a ring and gasps audibly. This piece, a blogger gushes into her phone camera, is called Heartbreak. See how the stone is split down the center, but the setting holds it together. It is like taking your worst pain and building something beautiful out of it. I am obsessed. Behind the main counter, in a sharp black suit with her hair in a sleek wave, Selina feels her chest loosen for the first time in months. She thought she had killed this part of herself when she moved into the mansion, when she traded sketchbooks for social calendars. Now, surrounded by her own designs and the low hum of admiration, she feels something else instead. She feels alive. Mia appears at her elbow with 2 flutes of champagne. "To divorce," she says, handing one over. "The best branding decision you ever made." Selina snorts. "You cannot say that in front of a reporter. They will think I launched this whole thing as a revenge stunt." Mia shrugs. "Did you not?" "Yes," Selina admits, then shakes her head. "No, maybe. I do not know. I just know that when I was filling out the divorce petition, and they asked for a reason, I wrote irreconcilable differences, but what I really meant was I refused to live half a life." Mia clinks her glass against Selina's. "Then here is to full lives. And to your brand trending #1 on fashion Twitter right now." Selina blinks. "It is what?" Mia flips her phone around. A hashtag flashes across the screen. Hashtag Nirvana Heartbreak. A video plays of a young woman holding up one of Selina's necklaces, tears in her eyes as she explains how she saved for months to buy herself something beautiful after a brutal breakup. She says your design made her feel like her pain meant something. Mia says softly. "You did that." Selina swallows around the lump in her throat. "Do not make me cry at my own launch. My mascara is too expensive for this." The bell above the boutique door rings. A fresh wave of guests flows in. Selina pulls her shoulders back and smiles, ready to greet them. She does not see Cade standing across the street. He watches from the shadow of a doorway, tie loosened, coat collar turned up against the wind. Neon from the gallery sign paints faint colors across his cheekbones. In his hand, he holds a glossy magazine with Selina's face on the cover, headline screaming, "From MRS. Walker to Queen of Heartbreak, the jewelry designer everyone is talking about." He had not needed the article to know where she was. His inbox has been full all week with alerts from his PR team. Subject lines: all variations of Selina Hart's brand explodes, and Walker ex-wife becomes overnight icon. His chest tightens as he watches her laugh at something Mia says, head tipping back, eyes crinkling at the corners. It hits him in a way the photo in the hotel never did. He ruined that smile. He flinches when a photographer outside the store raises a camera and snaps a photo of Selina kissing Mia's cheek. "Move," someone mutters, bumping Cade's shoulder. "I am trying to get a shot of the designer." Cade steps back, half in reflex, half in shame. He never liked being in front of cameras. Now he understands another reason why. Cameras catch truth, even when you are not ready to admit it. The truth is simple. He let the best thing in his life walk away. For the first time since signing the divorce papers, it occurs to him that maybe this is not just a phase she will get over. Maybe she will never come back. Maybe he will have to go to her. A black car glides up to the curb down the block. The back door opens, and Viola steps out in a flood of flashbulb light, wearing a gown that costs as much as some people's cars, and a smile that never reaches her eyes. She spots Cade almost instantly. Of course she does. She walks toward him with practiced grace, heels clicking against the sidewalk. Cade. She purrs. Fancy seeing you here. Did you come to support Selena's little project? He stares at Selena's reflection in the boutique window instead of at Viola. It is not a little project. He says quietly. It is her dream. Viola's lips thin. Dreams do not last long in this city if you are not protected. She says. You know that better than anyone. Walker Group's numbers take one wrong hit, and the sharks will circle. Roderick says. I do not care what Roderick says. Cade snaps. The words surprise them both. Viola's eyes cool. You should. He is still on the board. He still has enough votes to make your life very difficult. I am already living my worst-case scenario. Cade says. There is nothing he can do to me now that hurts more than losing her. He finally looks at Viola, really looks. For the first time, he notices the calculation behind her doe-eyed concern, the way her fingers tighten on her designer clutch when she talks about board votes, not feelings. Whatever game you and Roderick think you are playing, I am done. He says. Stay away from me. And stay away from her. He turns away before she can answer, heart pounding, and walks toward the glow of Selena's boutique like a man heading into battle. If she thinks he will just fade into a headline and a memory, she is wrong. He is going to get his wife back, even if it kills him. 3 days later, Cade realizes just how deep the trap goes. He sits in his office on the 42nd floor of Walker Group's glass tower, the skyline spread behind him like a jagged heartbeat. His assistant leaves a stack of reports on his desk, but his eyes are fixed on a different folder. Security footage. Run it again. He tells the tech consultant sitting across from him. The man nods and taps his laptop. The flat screen on the wall lights up, showing grainy footage from the hotel hallway on the night of his birthday. Cade watches himself in fast forward stumbling out of the elevator, with his tie askew, Roderick Cohen's hand clamped on his shoulder, Viola trailing behind them, smiling at the camera like she knows exactly who will be watching this later. Roderick shoves a glass into Cade's hand in the hallway. Cade refuses it at first, jaw tense, then finally takes it, tired and angry. The liquor glows amber gold under the lights. He remembers the heat of it sliding down his throat. He does not remember anything after that until waking up on the sofa, pounding headache, Viola's hand on his chest, shirt unbuttoned, towel around his waist, Selena's voice a sharp knife cutting through the haze. Freeze it. Cade says hoarsely. The tech hits a key. The frame pauses as Roderick lifts 2 fingers subtly behind Cade's back. A shadowy figure down the hall, almost hidden by a pillar, lifts a camera. There. The tech says, zooming. See the reflection in the mirror? The image tightens. In the mirrored wall next to the elevator, a clearer shot appears. Roderick's lawyer, phone raised. Viola glancing at the camera with a small, satisfied smirk. Son of A. Cade breathes out, knuckles whitening on the edge of his desk. They drugged him. They filmed him. They staged the entire scene. The tech clicks again. Another angle shows hotel staff entering the suite, before Cade and Viola arrive, rearranging items on the coffee table, placing a champagne bucket in the perfect spot. The hotel manager says the VIP floor key logs were tampered with. The tech explains. Roderick's people spoofed badges to get access. They also hacked into the internal system to erase some entries, but they did a sloppy job. We recovered fragments. Cade stares at the screen. It is one thing to suspect. It is another to see the plan frame by frame. How long have they been planning this? He asks. Months, probably. The tech says. This is not just about you. They have been manipulating share prices, leaking selective information, setting up shell companies tied to Roderick's offshore accounts. Your wife seeing you with Viola was just the personal touch. Wife. The word punches through him. She is not his wife anymore. He scrubs his hands over his face, rage boiling under his skin. Send everything to my personal drive, he says. And make a separate copy that does not touch the company servers. If Roderick has someone inside, I do not want them tipping him off. When the tech leaves, Cade collapses into his chair and stares at the city. For years, he has prided himself on staying 2 moves ahead. He outplayed private equity vultures, aggressive competitors, politicians with too many favors. He built Walker Group from a respectable legacy brand into a global force. And yet, when it came to the one person he should have protected the most, he did not see the knife until it was buried between his ribs. He opens a second folder on his desk. Selina's designs. He found them in a forgotten drawer at the mansion last week, hidden under old contracts and event programs. Sketch after sketch, lines precise and emotional at once. Concepts for collections that never saw the light of day, all signed in a small, neat SH. At the bottom, he had no idea how much she had been holding back. A notification pops up on his computer. An email from his PR head. Subject: new allegations against Nirvana. He clicks it. Screenshots fill the screen. Anonymous accounts on social media accusing Selina of stealing designs from a European jewelry house. A blurry side-by-side comparison of a Nirvana ring and an obscure piece from a collection 5 years ago. Cade does not even have to look twice to see the differences. But most people will not look twice. His phone buzzes. Mia's name flashes on the screen. He answers instantly. What happened? You saw it too? Mia demands, voice crackling with fury. Of course you saw it, the internet never sleeps. Some idiot blog just posted that Selina plagiarized a Swiss designer. They are saying she only blew up because she married rich. Cade's grip tightens on the phone. Where is she? In the store, Mia says, pretending it does not bother her, which means it bothers her so much she is about to go into full robot mode. If this rumor spreads, it could kill Nirvana before it even gets going. I know, he says. There is a beat of silence. What are you going to do about it? Mia asks. Whatever it takes, he says. He hangs up, grabs his jacket, and heads for the elevator. Down on the street, rain has started again, a softer drizzle this time. He does not bother with an umbrella. The walk from the office to Soho has never felt longer. Nirvana's doorbell jingles brightly when he steps inside. The store is quieter than on opening night, but still busy. A couple whispers over a case of rings. A blogger films a close-up of a bracelet. The screen behind the counter loops a slideshow of Selina's pieces, the Heartbreak collection shimmering in high definition. Selina stands near the back, explaining the inspiration behind a pair of earrings to a middle-aged woman. Her voice is calm, eyes bright, posture confident. You would never guess that she has spent the last hour being dragged across the internet. He waits until she finishes, until the customer leaves with a purchase wrapped in white tissue and silver ribbon. Selina, he says, stepping forward. She turns, surprise flickering across her face, before it smooths into cool neutrality. Cade, she says. We do not carry ties or cufflinks, if that is what you are looking for. Maybe try the store next door. He almost smiles. Even angry, she is funny. I am not here to buy anything, he says. Then, quickly, before Mia appears with a broom to sweep him out. I am here to help. Her brows lift. Help, she repeats. Now why would I let the man whose last surprise gift almost destroyed my life help with my brand? He deserves that. Because the people attacking you online are the same people who attacked me, he says. Roderick, Viola, they are behind those plagiarism rumors. I can prove it. At the mention of their names, something sharp flashes in her eyes. Prove it how? She asks. He pulls out his phone, opens the transfer app, and shows her the file list. I have security footage from the hotel, financial trails from shell companies to paid troll farms, email screenshots linking Roderick's PR firm to the blog that posted that expose. It is not just about us anymore, Selina. They are trying to destroy your work to get to me. She looks at him, studying his face like one of her sketches, searching for cracks. And you just discovered all of this now? She asks. After the divorce. I started digging the night you left. He says plainly. At first I told myself it was for my reputation, for the company. Then I watched that video of you explaining heartbreak to a bunch of strangers, and realized I could not stand the idea of them tearing you apart for something you did not do. Her lips pressed together. I am supposed to believe you did all this out of the goodness of your heart? She asks. There is no angle, no deal you want to strike, no bargain where you get your wife back as a bonus prize? Yes, I want you back, he says, the honesty ripping out of him like a bandage. But this is not a bargaining chip. I will take down Roderick and clear your name whether you ever speak to me again or not. Mia appears at Selina's shoulder, eyebrows raised. Is that so? Cade nods once. Mia studies him, then glances at Selena. Let him show you, she says reluctantly. We can always tase him later if he tries anything. Mia. Selena groans. What? Mia shrugs. I am just saying, my taser is fully charged. Cade almost laughs, a sound that feels foreign in his chest these days. Selena sighs. Fine. 10 minutes. In my office. If you turn this into some kind of romantic speech, I am kicking you out. Understood, he says. She leads him through a narrow hallway into a small office at the back of the shop. It smells like paper, coffee, and perfume. The desk is covered in sketches and invoices. A corkboard on the wall holds pinned photos of jewelry prototypes, color swatches, and a single candid shot of Selena and Mia laughing over a tray of half-finished pastries. Cade sets his laptop on the desk and pulls up the files. For the next 10 minutes, the room is filled with the glow of the screen and the quiet clack of keys as he walks her through what he found: the hallway footage, the mirrored reflection, the tampered key cards, the payments to fake accounts posting accusations about Nirvana. Selena's face tightens with each new piece of evidence. By the time he clicks pause on a screenshot of Roderick's smug face in a boardroom, her hands are clenched into fists at her sides. So they lied to me, she says slowly. They lied to me about you to punish you. They lied about my work to punish you again. And I walked right into it. Her shoulders slump for a moment under the weight of it. Then she straightens, jaw set. No. She corrects herself. They did not make me sign those papers. I did that because you still brought them into our life. You still shut me out. Their betrayal does not erase yours. He takes that hit. He deserves it. You are right, he says quietly. I let them get close because I thought I could control the damage. I did not trust you with the ugliness, and that was the biggest mistake I have ever made. Her eyes flick to his, surprise softening the sharpness. You admit that, she says. I admit everything, he says. You want a list of my sins? I can start with missing your first gallery showing after our wedding, and work my way up to treating you like a public relations accessory, instead of a partner. The corner of her mouth twitches despite herself. This is dangerously close to a romantic speech, she warns. He smiles, small and tired. Trust me, when I finally get to make you a romantic speech, you will know. This is just my confession. Silence settles between them, full of things not said. Finally, Selena nods once. Okay, she says. We take them down. He blinks. We? She crosses her arms. Do you really think I am going to sit back and watch you play corporate hero while they drag my name through the mud? You might be the shark in the boardroom, Cade, but this is my arena too. They attacked my art. That is personal. A fierce, wild pride surges through him. Then we go to war together, he says. For the record, she adds. This does not mean I forgive you, or that we are getting back together. This is strictly a temporary alliance between two people who hate the same enemies. Understood, he says again. I will take whatever you are willing to give me. Her eyes flicker, as if she hears the words he does not say. For now. Out in the boutique, the bell jingles again. Voices rise. The rumor storm online is already starting to seep through the doors. Selena glances toward the noise, and then back at the screen filled with proof. Let us burn them, she says. For the first time in a long time, they are on the same side of something. And Roderick Cohen is about to learn that the ex-wife he tried to turn into collateral damage is a lot more dangerous than the quiet girl who used to smile politely from the end of the boardroom table. The emergency board meeting at Walker Group headquarters should have been Cade's execution. Roderick walks into the conference room like he already owns it. His silver hair is combed back, his tailored suit is a shade darker than his smile. Viola trails after him in a cream dress that screams innocence, and a face that screams anything but. Around the long glass table, board members shuffle papers and whisper behind manicured hands. A few reporters hover outside the glass walls, held back by security, cameras ready in case anyone storms out. Cade sits at the head of the table, calm in a way he has not felt since the night of the hotel. He straightens his tie, glances down at the small flash drive in his pocket, and thinks about the woman waiting 2 floors below in his private lounge, wearing black and rage-like armor. Selena had refused to attend the board meeting itself. I am not part of your company anymore, she said earlier, sipping coffee in his office like she had every right to be there. I am part of the reason you are here, but I am not your decorative accessory. I will stand next to you when we tell the truth. I will not sit quietly while a room full of men who never learned my name debate whether my pain is good for their stock price. He respected that. He respected her. He is still getting used to that feeling again. Now, the meeting is called to order. Roderick stands up with a somber expression, carefully placed concern in his eyes. Ladies and gentlemen. He begins, projecting his voice so even the reporters outside can hear faintly. None of us wanted to have this conversation. Cade has led Walker Group admirably through difficult times. But recent events have raised serious questions about his judgment and the stability of this company. He clicks a remote. Headlines flash onto the screen at the front of the room. Walker heir's marriage collapses in scandal. Ex-wife's jewelry brand rocked by plagiarism claims. Walker stock slides on personal and professional controversy. Murmurs ripple around the table. Perception is reality on Wall Street. Roderick continues. Our clients do not care whether Cade is guilty or innocent in his personal life. All they see is chaos. All they see is risk. For the good of this company, we need to consider new leadership. He looks down the table, meeting each board member's eyes. I move that we vote to remove Cade Walker as CEO. Cade lets the words hang in the air for a beat. Then he smiles. Before we do that, he says, standing up slowly, I think everyone should see the whole story, not just the script Roderick wrote. Roderick's jaw twitches. Cade, this is not the time for theatrics. On the contrary, Cade says pleasantly, it is exactly the time. He pulls the flash drive from his pocket, walks to the screen, and plugs it into the port. The first video he plays is the hallway footage. The room watches as the scene unfolds. Roderick pushing drinks. Viola glancing at the hidden camera. The staff rearranging the room. Cade pauses at the mirrored reflection, zooming in on Roderick's lawyer with his phone raised. This is the night my marriage ended. Cade says quietly. I made mistakes. I let my guard down with the wrong people. I stepped into that suite, but I did not invite cameras. I did not ask anyone to drug my drink. I did not ask my so-called colleague to coordinate fake footage designed to destroy my reputation and hurt my wife. Gasps flutter around the room. This is ridiculous. Roderick scoffs. Anyone can doctor video. True, Cade says. Which is why your signature is so helpful. He clicks again. Emails appear on the screen, enlarged for everyone to see. Subject lines like urgent content for blog post and influencer payment schedule. Bank statements. Wire transfers from shell companies linked to Cohen Holdings to troll accounts that blasted Nirvana with plagiarism accusations. Most damning is a message from Roderick to his PR chief. Make sure the jewelry girl takes the hit. If her brand crashes, Walker will spend months distracted putting out domestic fires. Roderick's face drains of color. That is illegal. One board member says. You hacked his email? Cade shakes his head. No, someone in his own office sent this to me anonymously. I am not the only one he has been lying to. He lets that sink in. Then he plays a short clip of the blog's founder, sweating under questioning from a private investigator, stammering about pressure from a powerful backer to run a false story about Nirvana. I could take this to the police right now, Cade says. And believe me, I will. But you deserve to know whom you are trusting with your investments. He turns to Roderick. You wanted my seat. He says. You wanted my company. You used my marriage and my ex-wife's art as weapons in your game. You thought I would be too ashamed to fight back. You thought she would stay quiet. You were wrong on every count. The room is silent except for the faint buzz of the screen. Roderick's mask cracks. This is a smear campaign. He snarls. You are twisting things, Cade. You always were dramatic. We needed to control a narrative that was hurting the company, and your little artist ex-wife refused to play along. She is a liability. Frankly, you both are. Funny you should bring her up, Cade says calmly. Because she is here too. He walks to the conference room door and opens it. Selena strides in like she owns the place. She wears a tailored black jumpsuit that cinches at her waist, gold earrings from her own collection catching the light. Her makeup is sharp, her hair is smooth, her eyes are volcanic. Cameras flash wildly outside the glass as reporters realize who she is. Ms. Hart. One board member breathes. XMRS, Walker. Another whispers. Selena stops next to Cade at the head of the table, ignoring the buzz of voices. She looks straight at Roderick. For 3 years, I smiled at you at charity galas, she says. I brought you coffee in the green room, before your talk at the Innovation Summit. I watched you pat my husband on the shoulder and tell him he was like a son to you. And all that time, you were plotting to use our marriage as leverage. Her voice is calm, but her eyes burn. You hacked the hotel. You framed him with your daughter. You paid strangers to call my work fake. She continues. You tried to turn my heartbreak into your business strategy. Roderick tries to regain his composure. You have no proof. You really need to stop saying that sentence. Selena cuts in. He has proof. I have proof. And soon, the authorities will have proof. She pulls a small recorder out of her clutch and presses play. Roderick's own voice fills the room, tinny but unmistakable. If the wife sees him with Viola, she will leave him. His personal life will explode. Stock will dip. We will step in like heroes and offer to save the company. Everyone wins. Everyone except the humans in the crossfire. Selena says, hitting stop. That recording is from the night you bragged to your banker at a private club. You should really check for microphones under tables, Roderick. Women are not the only ones capable of being invisible in this town. Viola surges to her feet, face mottled. You set us up. She shrieks. You tricked my father, you drugged my drink. No. Selena says. That was all you. All we did was stop pretending we could not see it. The board members look around at each other, murmurs turning from doubt to outrage. This is not just about me or about Cade. Selena says, turning to face the table. This is about someone willing to manipulate markets, lie to investors, and commit crimes to get what he wants. If he did this to us, what else has he done? One of the older members clears his throat. Roderick, is any of this true? Roderick opens his mouth to deny it. The words do not come. Because he sees it in their eyes already. He has lost. I move that we remove Roderick Cohen from the board effective immediately. Another member says, voice sharp. Seconded. Someone else chimes in. All in favor? The chair asks. Hands shoot up around the table like birds taking flight. The vote is almost unanimous. Roderick stares at Cade and Selena with venom. This is not over. He hisses. You are right. Cade says. It is just not going to end the way you wanted. Security appears at the door. For once, they are not here for the press. As they escort Roderick and a sputtering Viola out, Selena feels something unclench in her chest. It is not joy. Not yet. But it is relief. When the door closes behind them, another board member turns to Cade. Mr. Walker, she says. The way you hid this investigation from us was not ideal. But given what you have shown us today, I believe the greater risk would have been ignoring your instincts. I vote that you remain CEO. We can issue a statement first thing in the morning. Cade nods, but his gaze is on Selena. Do not do it for me. He says quietly. Do it because it is the right thing for the company. I will accept whatever decision you make. Selena's head snaps toward him at that. He really has changed. The vote to keep him passes easily. The board disperses in a flurry of shock and phone calls. Within an hour, Roderick's assets are frozen pending investigation. Viola's name starts trending online for all the wrong reasons. The rumor about Nirvana is retracted by the blog in a hastily posted apology clearly written by a lawyer. Selena and Cade step into his private lounge, finally alone. They stand on opposite sides of a low table, adrenaline still buzzing in the air between them. You were good in there, he says. She arches a brow. I am always good when I am angry. He smiles. Terrifying, actually. Silence falls. The weight of everything unsaid presses in. I am sorry. He blurts out then, the words too big to hold in any longer. For all of it. For letting him in. For not listening to you. For making you feel small in our own home. You were never small to me, Selena. I was just afraid. She blinks. Afraid of what? Of needing you. He says. Of you seeing the cracks. Of you looking at me the way you looked at me in that hotel doorway, and realizing I am not as strong as you thought. Her breath catches. That is the stupidest thing I have ever heard. She says, voice shaky. And I watched you agree to a 12-hour workday for 3 years straight. He almost laughs. I know. He says. I am an idiot. He steps closer, cautious, like she is a wild animal that might bolt. I cannot undo what I did to us. He says. I cannot unthrow the cake on the floor. I cannot unsign the papers you pushed into my hands. But I can stop pretending I do not care that you are gone. I care. I care so much it scares me. And if there is even a small chance you could have someday not hate me, I will do whatever it takes. Emotions wore across her face: anger, hurt, longing, disbelief. You do not get to stand here and say that like you did not watch me move out. She says, tears glinting. Like you did not see the boxes and still hope I would stay. You let me walk away, Cade. I know. He says. And I have regretted it every day since. I thought you would cool off, that you would remember the good and forget the bad, because that is what I did with my father and his absences. I thought that is what love looked like. Turns out, That is what cowardice looks like. Her throat works. I am so tired. She whispers. I am tired of loving men who only realize what they have when it is gone. I am tired of building my life around someone else's calendar. I am tired of hearing the word later. He takes another step, close enough now that he could reach out and touch her if he dared. Then do not. He says softly. Do not build around me. Build around you. Around nirvana. Around whatever else you want. Let me stand on the outside of that circle and prove I can fit into your life without swallowing it. She laughs, a wet, shaky sound. You realize you are basically asking to be demoted from husband to a what, intern? I am asking to be given a job. He says. Any job, even if it is just guy who delivers coffee to your store and scares off rude customers. She looks at him for a long time. Right now, she says carefully. You are my business ally and the man who helped clear my name. That is it. Do not push for more. He nods, swallowing disappointment. I will take it. He says. She turns to leave, then hesitates at the door. Cade. Yes. You were not the only coward. She says quietly, not looking back. I stayed quiet because I was afraid if I spoke up, you would choose your company over me. I should have given you the chance to prove me wrong before I walked. I am sorry for that. The door closes softly behind her. He stands there alone, the echo of her words hanging in the air like a fragile truce. Enemies defeated. War won. Heart still very much on fire. Spring comes to New York with its usual stubbornness, one warm day followed by 3 bitter ones. The city shrugs, adjusts its scarves, and keeps moving. So does Cade. He does not bombard Selena with flowers, though he wants to. He tried once 24 red roses delivered to Nirvana on a Monday morning. They came back that afternoon, dropped on his desk with a sticky note attached in Mia's handwriting. Try again with original material. She prefers peonies. Since then, he has learned to be more thoughtful. He shows up at Nirvana every Saturday with coffee, 1 latte with oat milk, 1 black. He never walks in until the door is open. He never stays if she looks exhausted. He just sets the cups on the counter with a quiet morning and leaves. Sometimes she thanks him, sometimes she does not. He keeps coming anyway. He also becomes an unofficial bouncer. When a fashion influencer treats the sales staff rudely, Cade steps in, voice polite but steel hard, and suggests she shop elsewhere. When a pushy investor tries to corner Selena at a networking event and talk about leveraging the heartbreak narrative to sell more pieces, Cade inserts himself between them like a human wall. She is not a narrative. He says. She is a designer. Talk about her work or talk to someone else. Slowly, grudgingly, Selena starts to trust that his help does not come with strings. She discovers he has quietly paid off the small business loan she took to open Nirvana, then marches into his office, furious. You had no right. She snaps, slamming the bank notice on his desk. He looks up from a contract, startled. Right to what? To decide that I cannot pay my own debts. She says. To erase the proof that I built this brand on my own. He winces. I did not mean it like that. I just wanted to make things easier for you. I do not need easy. She fires back. I need you to respect that I am not your charity case. He hesitates, then nods. You are right. He says. I am sorry. I will call the bank and tell them to reinstate it. She blinks. You cannot just to put the debt back. I can convince them to reclassify it as a line of credit tied to future purchase orders instead of my guarantee. He says. You will still be responsible for paying it, but the interest rate will stay lower. It is a more fair. Her anger deflates a little. I hate that you are good at this. She mutters. I hate that I was too proud to admit you are better at everything else. He returns. She huffs, half a laugh, and storms out, but he catches the small smile she tries to hide. They find a strange rhythm. He invites her to company events as a guest designer, not as his date. Sometimes she refuses. Sometimes she goes and spends the whole night talking to clients about investment pieces, while he watches from across the room, heart full, and hands appropriately off. When she lands a collaboration with a major fashion house, he sends a bottle of champagne to her studio with a card. Congratulations on your world domination. Please do not forget the small people on your way up. She texts back a photo of the bottle next to a half-eaten pizza. World domination is hungry work. He stares at the photo for 10 minutes before saving it to a private folder labeled absolutely not pathetic. Then there are the disasters. Like the time he tries to cook. Selena works late at the studio, putting final touches on a custom necklace for a client whose daughter beat cancer. It is nearly midnight, when she finally stumbles back to her apartment, exhausted and hungry, dreaming of instant noodles. Instead, she opens her door to find Cade in her kitchen, surrounded by smoke. Do not panic. He coughs, waving a dish towel at the ceiling. It is under control. The fire alarm screams its disagreement. Selena drops her bag. What did you do? I followed a recipe. He protests, eyes watering. For your favorite tiramisu. She looks around. There is cocoa powder on the floor, mascarpone smeared across the counter like an abstract painting, and a baking dish that looks suspiciously like it went under the broiler instead of into the fridge. Tiramisu is not supposed to catch fire, she says. Well, it did not, technically. He says. The paper towel I put under the dish did, but I put it out. With flour, which, fun fact, is more flammable than you would think. She stares at him. Then, to his immense relief, she starts laughing. Big, uncontrollable, doubled-over laughter that makes her clutch her stomach and lean against the doorframe. It is not that funny. He protests, but he is grinning. You. She gasps between giggles. The man whose idea of cooking used to be ordering from 3 different Michelin-starred restaurants at the same time, tried to make tiramisu and almost burned down my kitchen. I am expanding my skill set. He says. I figured if I am going to beg for a second chance, I should at least bring dessert. She wipes at her eyes, still smiling. The oven is ruined, she says. I will replace it, he says immediately. With what, a flamethrower? She teases. His heart squeezes. He takes a step closer, lowering his voice. I will replace anything I broke, he says. Except the part of you that forgot how to laugh. I think you just fixed that yourself. Their eyes meet. The humor fades into something softer, heavier. You cannot keep doing this, she whispers. Doing what? Making it hard to stay mad at you. He swallows. You could always stop trying to stay mad, he offers. She shakes her head, stepping back, walls going up again. I do not trust that yet, she says. I do not trust you yet. I know, he says. I will wait. How long? She asks. As long as it takes, he says. She looks at him for a long, searching moment, then sighs. Fine, she says. You can stay for takeout, but you are not allowed near the stove. Yes, ma'am, he says. They eat noodles out of cartons on her couch, not touching, talking about everything except the gaping history between them. The movie playing on the TV goes unwatched. His shoulder brushes hers once when he reaches for the soy sauce. Neither of them moves away. Later, when he leaves, he pauses at the door. Selena? If I had not walked into that hotel room with Roderick that night, he says quietly. Do you think we would have ended up here anyway? She thinks about 3 years of swallowed complaints, ignored invitations, and lonely nights in a big house. Maybe, she says honestly. Just slower. He nods, accepting it. Then maybe, he says. This is the part where we finally stop pretending we do not know how much we hurt each other and start learning how not to. She does not answer. But when he texts later to make sure the new oven installation goes okay, she sends back a thumbs up emoji. For Cade, that feels like progress. For Selena, it feels terrifying. For both of them, it feels like the first fragile step towards something that might, if they do not burn it down, turn into home again. 1 year after the rain-soaked divorce, Nirvana hosts its first anniversary gala. The venue is a renovated warehouse in Brooklyn, all exposed brick and high ceilings hung with strings of warm lights. Glass display cases line the walls, holding the best pieces of the past year: the Heartbreak Collection, the Phoenix line, a new series of rings inspired by scars, turned into constellations. Guests move through the space in a swirl of silk and sequins. Journalists scribble notes. Cameras flash. A live band plays a low, jazzy version of a pop song in the corner. Selena stands near the main stage, taking it all in. She wears a gown of her own design, dark blue like midnight over the ocean, hand-set crystals scattered across the bodice like stars. Around her neck rests a single pendant, a broken circle soldered back together in bright gold. Mia squeezes her hand. Look at this, Mia says, eyes bright. Look at what you built. Selena looks. The crowded room, the glowing cases, the huge Nirvana logo projected on the brick wall. The donation box for the foundation she started to fund art programs for girls. The smiles, the laughter, the flutes of champagne raised in her honor. Her chest swells. It was not just me, she says. Mia snorts. Sure, the universe just randomly shoved success into your mailbox. Own it, heart. Selena laughs. Her gaze slides across the room, finds Cade. He stands near the bar, talking to a group of investors, dark suit sharp, tie a shade lighter than his eyes. He looks relaxed, but she can see the tension in his fingers on the glass. He has been nervous all night. When he feels her looking, he glances up. Their eyes meet. For a moment, the rest of the room blurs. He excuses himself from the conversation, weaving through the crowd until he is in front of her. "You did it," he says softly. "We did it." She corrects without thinking. His breath catches. She realizes what she said and flushes. "Do not read into that," she warns. "I am very bad at not reading into things," he admits. "But I will try." Before she can reply, a spotlight snaps on, illuminating the stage. Mia steps up to the microphone. "Good evening, everyone," she says, voice cheerful. "Thank you for coming to celebrate the first anniversary of Nirvana. When Selena and I opened our tiny little store a year ago, we were mostly hoping not to go bankrupt. Tonight, I am happy to report we are not bankrupt." Laughter ripples through the crowd. "In fact," Mia continues, "we are doing pretty damn well. We have shipped pieces to 20 countries, collaborated with 3 major fashion houses, and donated part of our profits to art programs around the city. None of that would have happened without the woman I am about to drag up here, so please give it up for the heart, brain, and slightly terrifying perfectionism behind Nirvana Selena Hart." Applause crashes over Selena like a wave as Mia literally drags her onto the stage. Selena takes the mic, heart hammering. "I am going to keep this short," she says, smiling. "Because if I start thanking everyone individually, the band will mutiny." A gentle chuckle. "Last year, I walked out of a life I thought was permanent," she says. "I did it in the most dramatic way possible, because apparently that is my brand." More laughter. "At the time, I felt like everything was ending," she continues. "What I did not realize was that some endings are just violent beginnings. Nirvana exists because I chose to build something from the wreckage instead of sitting in it." She glances instinctively at Cade. He is watching her like she hung the stars on the ceiling. "I could not have done it without the people who believed in me even when I did not believe in myself," she says, voice softening. "My partner in crime, Mia, our incredible team, the women who saved up to buy their first piece and sent us messages about how it made them feel strong. And yes, the man whose mistakes and stubbornness accidentally lit the match that started this fire." Gasps and murmurs ripple through the crowd. Cameras tilt toward Cade. Selena smiles faintly. "Cade and I have a complicated history," she says. "But one thing is simple. When people tried to use my pain as a weapon, he chose to stand next to me and fight back, not because he needed good press, but because he finally understood that my work is not a side project. It is me." Cade's eyes shine. "So if there is one message I want you to take away from tonight," she finishes, "it is this. Do not wait for someone else to recognize your worth. Do not wait for permission to start again. Your heart might break. Let it. Then make something beautiful out of the pieces." The room erupts in applause. Selena steps back from the mic, exhaling. As the band starts up again, she descends the stairs. Cade meets her at the bottom. "That was He begins, then stops, shaking his head like words are not enough. "Wordy?" she offers. "Perfect," he says. They stand close enough that she can feel the warmth of his hand near hers. "Mia is going to kill me if I do not make you do this now," he says suddenly, clearing his throat. "Do what?" He smiles nervously. "Can I borrow you for a second?" he asks. "Off stage, but still in public, so you cannot run away." Her heart stutters. "Depends," she says lightly. "Are you about to do something stupid?" "Almost definitely," he says. He leads her to the center of the room, where the crowd is already turning toward them in curiosity. Mia appears out of nowhere with a microphone, eyes suspiciously shiny, and presses it into his hand. Cade takes a deep breath. "Hi," he says into the mic. "I am Cade Walker. You might know me from such hits as The Man Who Almost Let Roderick Cohen Ruin Everything, and The Idiot Who Watched His Wife Walk Out while holding divorce papers." Laughter ripples through the guests. Selena closes her eyes briefly. He insisted on calling himself that. Mia whispers to her. "I tried to talk him out of it." Cade continues. "1 year ago, I stood in a hotel hallway like a complete moron, and let the best thing in my life walk into a storm alone," he says. "Since then, I have learned a few things. 1. Always check for hidden cameras. 2. Do not let your enemies pick the location of your important conversations. And 3. When you love someone, you do not protect them by shutting them out. You stand in the mess with them." You let them see you scared and stupid and trying. His voice cracks on the last word. He turns to Selena, the room falling quiet. Selena Hart. He says, softer now, mic lowered just enough that not everyone can hear every word, but enough that they can see and feel the moment. I have failed you more times than I can count. I have also loved you longer than I ever admitted, even to myself. You are the reason my office has art on the walls instead of just stock reports. You are the reason my boardroom finally learned to pronounce the word irreconcilable correctly. You are the reason I know what it feels like to lose everything and still want to be a better man. Her eyes are already wet. He reaches into his pocket and pulls out a small velvet box. The room collectively gasps. Before you panic, he says quickly into the mic. This is not a surprise marriage. We have already done that. This is a very public, very terrified man asking the woman he loves if she would consider maybe one day marrying him again. With eyes open this time, he drops to one knee. The box opens. Inside is a ring like nothing in the cases around them. The band is split down the middle and rejoined with a twist of gold, two different metals fused. At the center sits a diamond not perfectly clear, but with a faint, warm inclusion that catches the light in unexpected ways. On the inside of the band, one word is engraved: fireproof. I asked Mia to help me with the design, Cade says. Which is why it does not look like a boring rich guy ring. It is two metals, damaged and reforged. Imperfect, but stronger because of it. Like us. Hopefully. Selena's hand flies to her mouth. Cade. She whispers. You do not have to say yes. He says, heart pounding so hard he is surprised the microphone does not pick it up. You can say not yet. You can say I need more time. You can say you want to throw this ring into the Hudson and start over in Paris. I will buy you the plane ticket. But I needed you to know that I am not going anywhere. Not as your ex-husband, not as your business ally, not as the idiot who brings coffee. I am here. For as long as you will let me be. The room holds its breath. Selena looks at the ring, then at him, then at the ring again. You really thought about this, she says, voice shaking. I have had a lot of practice thinking about everything I did wrong. He says. I wanted to at least get this part right. She laughs, tears spilling over. You are still dramatic, she says. I blame you. He replies. You are the one who turned my life into a limited series. The crowd chuckles, the tension easing just a little. Selena's heart races. She thinks about the girl who walked into a hotel with a cake and walked out with broken pieces. The woman who signed papers in a sterile office and told herself she was free, even as she bled. The designer who soldered heartbreak into metal and sold it to strangers who recognized themselves in the shine. She thinks about Cade showing up with coffee and apologies, standing next to her in boardrooms and back alleys, letting her have the last word even when it hurt. She thinks about all the ways they learned to burn together instead of apart. Okay, she says softly. His head snaps up. Okay? He echoes. Okay, I will not throw the ring in the Hudson. She says, the corner of her mouth lifting. And okay, I am willing to try again. On one condition. Anything. He says, too quickly. You do not get to use the word later as an excuse anymore. She says. If something is wrong, we talk about it. If you are scared, you tell me. If you miss one more important moment because of work, I reserve the right to revoke your ring for 24 hours as punishment. He laughs, choked and disbelieving. Done. He says. All of it. Especially the punishment part, that sounds terrifying. She holds out her left hand, fingers trembling. He slides the ring onto her finger. It fits like it has been waiting there the whole time. The room explodes in applause. Mia screams. Someone pops a champagne cork. Cameras flash, capturing tears and smiles and the way Cade pulls Selena into his arms like he is afraid she will vanish if he lets go. She wraps her arms around his neck, voice muffled against his shoulder. If you hurt me again, she murmurs, I will design a collection called Idiot Ex-Husbands and donate all the proceeds to your competitors. He laughs into her hair, joy and fear tangled together. I believe you, he says. Which is why I am never letting you go again. Later, when the speeches are over and the guests are drunk on champagne and happy endings, they slip out onto the rooftop. The city stretches around them, glittering and alive. A soft breeze lifts the edges of her gown. His jacket hangs over her shoulders, too big and exactly right. Do you ever think about that night? He asks quietly. The rain, the cake, the door. Sometimes, she says. Less now. What do you see? He asks. She thinks for a moment. Before, I saw the ending. She says. Now I see a beginning I did not know I needed. I see a girl who finally said no to being a footnote in someone else's story. I see a man who needed to lose everything to realize what love is not, so he could learn what it is. He swallows. And what is it? He asks. She looks at the ring on her finger, the word fireproof glinting faintly inside. Love is not never getting burned, she says. It is learning how to walk through the fire together and come out the other side still holding hands. He threads his fingers through hers. Then let us stay fireproof, he says. She smiles. For as long as it takes, she replies. The city hums beneath them. Somewhere far below, in a small store on a busy street, a necklace called Heartbreak glows in a dark case, its cracked stone catching the light and throwing it back brighter than before. Selena and Cade stand on the edge of everything, divorce papers signed, rings exchanged again, scars turned into constellations, and finally step into a future that feels like their own. Together this time.
Thanks for watching. Follow for more romance stories.